Isaac and Rebekah get pregnant with two boys, twins. And Rebekah notices that something peculiar is going on inside her womb. There's a jostling between the babies, and so she inquires of the Lord what is going on. And God tells her that there are two brothers basically at war within her own womb, and that there's going to be separation between them, that one will be stronger than the other, and one will serve the other. In fact, the older son will end up serving the younger son. And so she, is given this prophecy of war going on between her own two children, a conflict that will arise in her own household. So finally the day comes for her to have her babies. And when the first one comes out, the older son, Esau, they name him Esau because he's really hairy. The second one who's coming out, he's grabbing his twin brother's heel. And so they name him Jacob, which means grasps the heel, or it means deceiver. In fact, deceiver would be probably the best title to sum up what Jacob will be like for most of his life. Most of his life will be spent trying to deceive his own brother, to deceive his own father, to try to pull one over on anyone who he comes into contact with. He's always trying to gain leverage. He's always trying to gain more territory and more property and more honor. And he often puts himself ahead of those who he really is supposed to be serving and loving. In fact, there's a story of one day his brother comes in, and his brother is just thirsty and hungry. He feels like he's starving. He desperately needs food. Maybe he's been out for a very long time. And Jacob has been there for quite a while, and he's got food that he's eating. And Esau asks him for some of this food. And you would think that, he would just give it to his own brother. But he uses this as a moment to ask for his brother's birthright. And so he uses his hunger of his brother to overtly take away his brother's birthright. And his brother concedes and says, fine, give me the food. And then later, he subvertly robs his brother of his blessing, the blessing that their father Isaac would give them. And so, here's father, he's really old, he can't see. And Jacob takes advantage of this situation because he knows that before his father dies, he's going to bless one of the sons, and it's usually the older one. And that blessing has so much meaning to it. And so he decides that he's going to steal this blessing. And so his father can't see that well, so what he does is he wears some fur on his arms to make himself look hairy, just like his hairy brother Esau. And he goes into this room and brings his father some meat that he had supposedly went out and hunted. And so here we have Jacob deceiving his own father. And here's the deal. His father tells him, I'm going to be blessing you in the presence of the Lord. And Jacob is fully aware that he's not just deceiving his father. He's doing this act of deceit before God. And so we'll continue to see Jacob throughout this story always trying to pull one over on people, always trying to put his best foot forward above everyone else. He's really only concerned with his own druthers, his own purpose, his own identity. He doesn't care about anyone else. And it brings us back to how Jesus describes the first and the last, those who think very highly of themselves. And Jesus says it's those who will serve, those who are meek and humble that will inherit the kingdom. The first will be last and the last will be first. And Jacob is nothing like Jesus' vision for us, for humanity. But the truth is, we are so much like Jacob. We live in this dog-eat-dog world, social Darwinism, survival of the fittest. The workplace is a place of competition. We're always trying to beat our coworkers to that promotion. And so here we have in our own culture this sense of Jacob and Esau. And so we have to ask ourselves, who have we acted like Jacob to this week? Who have we put ourselves ahead of this week? Who have we torn down, whether overtly or subvertly, in such a way to puff ourselves up, for us to be first and above all else?